So what I want to cover today is the data export and then followed by data import. So to achieve our learning objective, so we are trying to create a use case. So assuming that our customer is asking like, the details of users, groups, and, the various foundation data attributes we have in the system. So what I want to export is, I want to export all the users in the system. I want to export a report of ITL users. Okay, ITL users in the system. Okay, and I want to export list of groups. Export the list of groups in the system. Okay, and export group membership in the system. Okay, and export list of roles in the system. Okay, so this is my customer requirement. Customer is asking me to export all the details from the system and provide him as a report. That is the objective. Okay, so if you want to export the data, there are two ways to do that. Number one, you can take a report of it, like if you want to use it for time to time basis, you can build a report on top of it and then provide the report to the customer. And number two, okay, you being as an administrator, you can export the data in a other format. You can go to the list view and then export the data. But to achieve any of this one, so what you need to know is, okay, please remember, you need to understand the key tables in the system, which will be used very heavily in your day-to-day job roles as part of your administration job role or as part of your development job role. So the key table that is used to maintain all your users data is, go to system security. Now this is the time to go and understand the base tables of the ServiceNow system. Now, okay, please remember this. All your system data, foundation data maintained typically in various places. One of the key places, system security. Go to system security. Under system security, all your system users are, structured in this particular table. Okay, so click on users. If you click on users, this will give me all the list of the users. You being a developer, you need to understand in which table this data is being structured. You can see on the top sys underscore user. That is one way to know in which table this data is stored. And the other way is right click on the list editor, go to configure and table. There also you will come to know which table where this data is being located. You can see this is located in the sys underscore user table. So first thing, let me capture the key tables here for your learning. Okay, these are the key questions probably come up. Which table is responsible for storing all the users data? It is sys underscore user table. Okay, in your development also you will be falling back to this table lot many times to understand the sys ID of your current record. Okay, that's number one. And number two is, give me the report of all ITL users in the system. How do you know this particular user is ITL user or not? It depends on role. Now, if I open up, okay, if I need to know whether this particular user is an ITL user or not, an example ITL user, you can look into it. So this is an example ITL user. If you want to know whether this particular person is ITL user or not, you will come to know based on the role that is attached. There is a role called ITL role. If the role is attached to any individual, then that user is called as a ITIL role. How do you know that whether this user is attached to this particular role or not? And there is an association between your user data and then role data. Okay. Now, so access roles. So if you look into this, or else like you can, for example, if I open up this particular record, you can, if this is the list view, right? Go to configure and go to table. There is a table called sysuser underscore has role. Okay, so this is the table name. In this table name, all the data that is associated with the role and then user, okay, will be structured in this particular table. The association between user and then roles is structured between these roles, and roles is separately structured in a separate table. You need to understand there is a sys underscore user role. So when you pick up this, like you need to understand now exclusively the role names are structured in here, user names are structured in here. The association between user and then role is structured in this particular table. Similarly, all the groups information structured in a separate table. Go to groups, system security, and then go to groups. The groups information structured in this particular table, this user group table. Okay, and then group membership. I mean, a group can contain certain number of people. So that group membership is structured in a separate table called has group. Okay, you can go to this particular table. Okay, this is taking me to the report. I said like various ways to do that, right? So you can go to any group. Let us say you go to service desk group. Go to service desk group, and this service desk group has contained couple of members in it. These are the group members, and you can right click here if you don't know and go to table, and then there is a table called has group. See, this is a group member, sys underscore user underscore group member. So now the association between this user and group is contained in this particular group member. The association between user and role structured in this particular data. So my customer is asking me these exports. How do I do that? Okay, as the first thing you have identified what are the key tables of this particular key placeholders and then associations. So I'll take a pause here. Any question on this one? Is there any confusion, Chaitanya? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Clear, right? No confusion, right?
No, sir.
Okay. Now let's export the data. So then you will realize like, bit more way. Okay, better way. So let me first get the data of sys underscore user. There are various two ways to do that. Okay, number one, I can go to the specific module, go to system security and go to users and export the data, or else directly copy this table and dot capital list. This also will take you to the direct list. If you do that capital list, it will open up in a new window. If you do use small list, it will open up in the same window. Okay. Now I can go to this particular users data, and from here also I can export the data, or else I can type here and then dot list. This will open up on the same page. I can type here and dot capital list, and it will open up a new window. Now it is the data is here. It's my job, like what are all the fields that I want to export. Okay, for example, I want to export all the data. Use every single thing to the right side. Now the entire data is being exported here into my list view, and see, these are all the photos that they have attached. Okay, photos will not come as we expect. Now go to right click here and export into what format we wanted. Okay, in this case, my customer is expecting me to share the data in the Excel format. Okay, so I can use this export method to export the user data. Okay, now I'm exporting the data. So the data will be exported and structured into your CSV file. So there are 600 records plus records. So they were exported and now they are downloading. This is one way of exporting the data. Okay, if you want to use this data for future import purpose, and there is the other way of exporting the data. If you want to use this data for your future import purpose after modifying the data, then you will go to this, okay, import. Can you see this? There is a place called import. If I want to use exported data to use into import, then I will use this import feature. When I do that, the system will tell me to create an Excel template. Okay, to create a Excel template, I will use this template for my future data import purpose. Okay, so we will learn this topic little later. So this is the other way to export a template. Okay, wherein, like, number one, if my customer is asking me only the data, then I will export into the Excel. But if I want to build a template using this, I want to load the data in the future state, then I will use import and create Excel template. So now let's open how this field looks like. Okay, number one, I'm opening this data. So you can see all the data that is exported, every single data. The photos wouldn't come here. Just remember, like, whatever you can see in the photos, like, they will not come, but the data has been exported. You can see now all the 600 plus records, 625 records were properly exported. Okay, now let's assume that my customer is seeing a lot of dummy data here, and they may say that, like, no, I don't want this whole data to be available in my system. What I want you to do is clean up this dummy data and then load proper data as part of my new implementation. Now this is a demo instance, right? Like, you have a lot of dummy data here. So my customer is saying, remove all this dummy data and, okay, include only my uh, data that I provide you. Okay. So here, like, this is the data. Now to do that, what I need to do, I have provided this export and the customer reviewed, and then he says, okay, you import the latest data that I do provide. So now I have to import the data. I have created a template. Okay. So this is the template by default will come up. The system created one template for us to use to import the data. So, it created one template. There is no data in it here. So my customer will give me, new data that to be imported into the system. Okay, new data that to be imported into the system. So you don't want, like, first thing he said, clean up all this data and import only the data that I provide you. So now by step one, data review completed, and he said, like, remove all the data and load the data only that I do provide. So what I need to do to remove it, we can delete the data. I'll show you how to delete it. There are various to delete the data. Okay, so we will talk about it in the system scripting, but for now what I will do is, like, I will create my system users, whatever my customer says. Okay, now in this one, the key fields to create a user profile are first name, last name, and user login, right? Okay, what is the first name? Okay, so you can say I want to create a key login, key details. Okay, user ID. Okay, some let just follow some company. Let's say some TCS. Okay, TCS user, TCS underscore test user one. Okay, so this is my login ID. And where is the first name? On the first name, I will say test user, and the last name. Where is the last name? Last login, last name. TCS user test one. Okay, and I'm giving this name. And if you want to give an email to that particular person, you can provide an email. TCS test user at tcs.com. So this is my email ID that I created. You can provide additional details also if you have. Fine. Otherwise, like, you can, you know only these three fields. Okay, you can add any number of fields that you wanted. You definitely can do that. So now what I will do is like, and I will create some dummy data. Okay, I created some 21 logins. Okay, with 1, 2, 3. Okay, some prefix. Okay, so I have created that. Now you can see there is some data has been created. Now save this data. Okay, so step one, I have exported the data and then I created a template for import. I'm preparing for data import. Now I will include all these details for my exercise. Okay. Import. Okay, so import exercise. Like right now, my data is there in the download. I'm just copying, parking in my. Here it is. I have opened up the system, so it does not allow me. Okay, so this is for import. Okay, I'm just having this is my terminal. So similarly, my next step two is okay, I will export the group information. Okay, I will export group information. To do that, again, I have ways to do it. Let's go to system security. Okay, go to groups and you can export the data directly from here, or you can open it in the list view. I don't know. I'm just exporting this data for my manager. This is how I do export. Export the data into Excel. So the data will be exported. There are 45 groups. So I'm exporting this data for my manager requirement. And then for my future report, I'm going to create a template. Okay. I'm creating a template. Okay, both of them were created. Okay, you can see now this is so you created two templates for your learning. I believe it's good. Now we will just export other data and share them. Okay, this is for our future import purpose. Okay, I have users, I have groups. Okay, now there is the other data that my customer wanted. Quickly, I will do. Okay, he wanted roles. So out of the box roles, whatever we have, he wanted a role. So I can directly go and then click on list. So it will open up in a new window and export all the data for all the roles related information. Okay, this is how you will be exporting the roles information. Now you have all columns in my list view. Export data into Excel. So roles are exported. Similarly, I want to export the combination between users and roles. Okay, if there is any user is attached with any role, then I will come to know from this place. Now after doing it, I will explain you there is other requirement from my customer. Okay, now my customer said export the combination between roles and users. So that is stored in sys underscore user roles. Okay, now export this data. Export it. Again, I want to export the combination between groups and users. Okay. So this is what, oh, this is group. I want to export this. This is a group membership. So this guy is part of this group. So you will come to know from this. Okay, now This is a group membership. And this is how you will be exporting the data. I'm exporting foundation data, and when it comes to the export of any data, and this is how you will do it. Now go to downloads, and I have downloaded it. Now my customer said, I want only ITL users data. Okay, right? So how do you get that ITL users data? Go to this has role table. Okay, this is the Excel sheet. And in this one, you go to rule and filter for ITL user. Okay, and filter for ITL rule. Okay, now go to data. Go to data and filter, and now ITL. Okay, if I look into this one, so these are the users, like, total out of 2000 records, we have 55 ITI licenses are applied to 55 different individuals. So, my manager is looking into this data in the Excel sheet. I don't have to do that in my case. I can directly visualize it in my, system itself. Okay. Now, being like, you have access to the system, what data need to be looked into it, and you can directly visualize it from here also. And, but the requirement is for manager. He want to do it his own analysis in his Excel. So he's asking for it. Now you can search for this ITL role here. You will get the data. So now you have around 55. This is the data that you are seeing, right? So when you are giving the data, only this data that you can also export and provide it to your manager, or else you provide it the whole data and then you will ask your manager to check for himself. So this is how you will export the data and share it with customers. So I talked about foundation data. So tomorrow maybe your manager is coming up and asking you, share all the CMDB data to me. Okay, I want to see all the list of servers data. Okay, how do you do that? To do that, you will go to server information. Okay, your manager wanted to see all servers information. So you will go to servers and then you go and export all your CMDB data and provide it to your manager. Or maybe your manager is saying, like, can you give me the report of incidents that are created in the last month? Okay, what do? You go to incident table. Okay, and filter for your incidents which are created in last month, right? So created, use your conditions to apply your rules. Created, you can use created, okay, on, okay, created on last month. Okay, so all the tickets which are created in the last month you can export. There is no data. So if there is any data that you can leverage, maybe it's created on last month or last week, you can use your condition according to your requirement. So if there is a data that will come up and you will export the data and share it with your customers. So same way, okay, created on last month, okay, or last week, okay, or every single thing last year or this year, okay, run. So this year, like, how many tickets? No tickets are created. So if you have any created, so you can export the data and provide it to your manager. This is the other way to do that. Or else you will use your report functionality. You can use your report functionality. Okay, and then prepare your own report and export. That also you can do. Now, let's say I want to provide the list of incidents that are created or list of changes that are created. So incidents, okay, select incident table. So I'm trying to do this. Okay, let's say my report view is a list view. Okay, so by default list view will be selected. So I'm leaving this. Okay, now the data is created in the list view. List view is already selected. So here you can do, and you can save the data and then you can export it. From here also the same thing, same options will come up. From here also you can export, or you can you can share your data to someone. So you can export to PDF. So you also can use these export features to share the data with your counterparts or whoever is asking. So with this now you are clear, right? Like, how do you export the data? So for your learning purpose, and I also wanted to make sure you are used to these tables like sys underscore user table, sys underscore user underscore has, okay, sorry, user underscore has role, okay, user underscore group and user underscore group member and role. So these are some of the key tables apart from your ITSM tables like incident, okay, and problem, change, okay, and we will have some other tables for ALM underscore asset for asset table, CMDB underscore CI for configuration management, and for all these three tables, so the data will be extended from the same table, right, called a task table. Okay, so these are some of the key tables. They should be always on your fingertips. Okay, because you are attempting to be a developer role, to become a developer. So you have to be used to these tables, or even if as an administrator also, you need to know what are the key tables and what they do. And we will learn few more. Okay, so with this, any questions on how to extract the data export? Any questions, Heman?
Nothing from my end. Everything is
Is
clear.
this clear? Very
Yes.
simple, right? Straightforward.
Yeah.
Chaitanya, any questions?
No, sir.
Are you good?
Yes, sir. It's clear.
Okay, Rani?
Yes, sir, it is clear. It's clear.
Okay, good. So what I'll do is now I will do data import. Okay, and then I will ask you to execute this on your own. So what happened is now my customer said, okay, so this is the data right now. Let us say tomorrow we will do the complete exercise around this, but I will use an example for group membership, okay, or else like users, or let us say we talked about library users, right? So we learned about library concept, okay, now library management. So these are the books that you have right now. Let us say you have ordered some 100 books, okay, you have ordered some 100 books. Now your 100 books have come to your inventory. What you need to do, okay, you as a ServiceNow administrator, you need to load all that books data into your system, or else your library administrator need to go and create those books related information one by one. This is how you should do it. Now you have 100, probably like you will be able to do it in 1 hour, so you may do it. But if what if like you have data of 1,000 books information, do you do it manually? So we prefer to do it using some automation feature, right? So the automated feature we have in ServiceNow is data import. Okay, how do you import the data? How do you import this entire data into your ServiceNow system? Okay, so to do that, we have a system load, or system import. We have a feature called system import. The system import feature will help you to load and transform the data into target table. Okay, remember one simple thing in ServiceNow. ServiceNow is always cautious about data security. If you want to load a data into this particular target table, the system would not recommend you to load anything directly into your target table. Okay, so what it does is before you are importing the data, system says you create the data into one staging table, and from there you transform the data into your target table. This is always ServiceNow do recommend. If you are integrating, this is what the recommendation applies. If you are importing the data, and this is what ServiceNow recommend, you have to follow. Okay, so the feature that will help you to do is data import. Now I want to load the some 1,000 records information into my books table. I want to load some 1,000 records information into my books table. So tomorrow we will do the same exercise. Okay, looking into the other foundation data. Okay, so let's prepare the data template like we did it for others. So now I want to prepare a data import template. Okay, so to do that, I will use import. I will use import and create Excel template as part of my data import feature. Okay, click on download. Now my book template is getting prepared. Okay, my book template is getting prepared. Let's wait for a minute. So data import feature is like making it ready. Okay, now my template is ready. I will take it to my. Okay. I will prepare the data here. Okay, let's open. Let's close other data sheets to avoid the confusion. Okay, right now I have one. So let's enable it. So now these are directions. They say like, you know, right, how the Excels we call rows, we call columns. Okay, so this is the basics for any person, like, they don't know. Okay, now, and these are the key fields which are available on my system. Okay, now let's see what kind of data that I need to administer on my table. Okay, now, okay, number is auto generated. I don't have to provide a number here. Okay, the number is auto generated, so I don't have to provide a number. And created is a system default field, so I don't have to provide anything for created, so that is why system did not prepare it in my template. And assigned, yeah, if I want to assign a data to any individual, then I have to provide that individual name here. Okay, under assign. And book name. Okay, so I need to provide a book name. And author, of course, I have to provide, that is coming from me, and the cost is coming from me. So let us prepare the data. Okay, and book name, sample book 1. Okay, and sample author 1, and cost is some 2000. Okay, and number is auto generated, so I am not bothered about. Assign to, for a moment I will assign it to one individual called Abel Tutor. Okay, you can do this. Now I want to prepare some, anything, like, it's a matter of number. So I prepared some 700, or else, like, and I can prepare some 1000 records. Okay, I prepared some 1000 records. So this is my data right now is available outside of my ServiceNow system. Okay, now the data is ready. So my template is ready. I want to name this template book info. Okay, so this is my data. Now to import the data into ServiceNow, we will have to follow 3 steps. 1, prepare the data. Okay, and load the data. And third, okay, check if there is any import set table already available. Otherwise, create import set table. Okay, and execute load. Okay, and create a transformation. Okay, and adjust transformation mapping. Okay, and then, okay, run the transformation. Okay, so these are the high level steps. Okay, in summary, we will be executing in 3 steps: load the data, create transformation, and run transformation. But I just made, like, in detailed steps for your learning. Okay, I don't want you guys to be confused. So now prepare the data. I prepared the template. It's completed, right? Now the next step is load the data. Okay, load the data. Go to system import and click on load the data. Okay, click on load. Okay, now here you are in the load data page. So what it is saying, so now the second step I executed. Okay, completed. And third one is create imports a table if it is unavailable. If it is already there, you can use the existing one. But I'm doing it for the first time, right? So I have to create a new template. If I'm using it for the second time, I can use the existing feature. Please remember this. So for the first time, I'm doing it. Okay, book info table. Okay, or book information. I can simply say book also. Okay. I don't want to say anything. Book. Simple. It is also creating a u underscore book. I will show you how this table is different from your table that is already created under u underscore book. We will verify how is it differentiated. Okay, I'm just closing other tabs. Okay, we are creating a book table automatically. Now, where is the data located right now? Evan, where is my data located? Currently, the data located on my
In your
local
downloads.
folder. Local folder, right?
Yeah.
So I'm saying it's a file and choose file.
Yes.
Under choose file, my data is currently located here under import folder.
Import folder.
Okay, and book info. This is where my data is currently located. And again, in that particular book folder, which sheet it is?
Two.
Second sheet.
Yeah.
Okay, it is available under my second sheet. This is first sheet and this is my second sheet, right? So I have to say it is my second sheet number. In this second sheet, what is the header? Is it header is in the first row or second row? It is in the first row. So header row is a first row. Okay. Now, what system does is it create a table with this name and with these headers, which are available under this sheet. Okay. Now it creates those columns automatically. U underscore book is already exist. Guys, see, I have already tried. So that's why it is saying book. What I'm going to say, book import. Okay, book import or load book. So this is creating. Now, if I'm saying the system will successfully create with this table name because the table does not exist. Okay, so if there is any table which is already existing is being a duplicate, the system is giving me error. Okay, now I clicked on load. Okay, so this will take you to the next page. The system said completion code, import processor, go to the import set and data load. It is saying headers are not available. Okay. To avoid the confusion, so remove this sheet. Okay. And save this. Close it. And choose the file. Book info and only one sheet. Submit it. Yeah. So the system is confused. So now it just took the data. And what system does? It created a table with the header rows and loaded those 1261 records into my system. But now again, as I explained, ServiceNow do not recommend the data to be directly loaded onto the target table. Now, where is the data created? It is under my staging table that I created called load book, right? So now the step 3 is completed, created a new book. And we have executed a load. So data loaded. What is the next step? Create transformation. Again, you will do it only for the first time. Please remember this. When you are doing it for the next time, you don't have to do that. We will show you that again. Now, I am creating a transformation. You can use this create transformation. For the second time, I don't have to do that. I can go directly to the run. So now create transformation. I'm saying I'm creating a new transformation. Okay. Load books. Okay, I'm naming this transformation, saving it. Okay, target table, where my target table should be. My target table should be book. My data currently available under load book. My data currently available under why this is giving me this error. Discard. Create transformation. There should be a new table. What data I show? Just I want to go back to the previous time. Let me just open up the import set table. It actually created with a new name. I think I have not checked out the proper name. Okay. Let me just execute it one more time. Okay. I will go back to the previous step. Okay. I will go to this step again. We will redo. It did not properly created. I gave a wrong name. So my data is completed. Data preparation is completed. Let me reload the data. Go to system import. Okay. I'm clicking on load data. Okay. Say step 2, load data completed. And step 3, creating a import set table. I want to create a import set table stating that load book info. This is my import set table name. Please remember this. This need to be unique. And file is my book info file. Okay. So sheet number 1, header number 1 is clear. So the system should create with this name. When I'm creating a transformation mapping, please remember that this name should be automatically coming there. But it did not come for some reason. Now let me just load the data. I'm just submitting it. Now processed 975 records. Okay, 1261 records are created. Now see, the second step is, see, this is completed and execute load is completed. The next step is create transformation. Now the table should be automatically coming up. Just click on it. As I said, you can see the table name that we just created. It has automatically came up. Okay. Now I'm saying load book info is my transformation mapping name. I'm doing this step. Okay. Create transformation mapping. And now the data is located in my source table. I want to transform the data into my target table. Target table name is book. U_book. This is my source table and this is my target table. Simple. So I want to complete this step. Transformation is provided and saved. Okay, transformation is completed. Okay, transformation is completed. So this step is completed. And the next one is adjust the transformation mapping. Now in my staging data, the data is coming in with 4 columns or 5 columns, whatever you have provided. Now what I need to do, I need to adjust my data mapping. Okay, so mapping, use mapping assist. So this will tell you what field from your Excel sheet should be mapped to what field in your target table. So here I have assign, use, assigned should be mapped. I have author, map, and I have book name, map, and I have cost. I have a cost, map. Number, I don't want to do that because number will be auto generated as we talked about. Okay, now I have adjusted the mapping. I have 4 fields which I'm using from my Excel should be mapped to my target table. I have mapped. Okay, so adjusted data mapping. Now once again save this. Okay, so the last step in this process is transformation. Okay, there is a run transformation, right? Run the transformation. So click on transform. So this will say your data is located in your staging table and I want to transform. Okay, the data is located in your import set table. That is a staging table. And this is my transformation mapping. And I want to run that transformation. Click on it. So what system is doing now? this is loading the data from my staging table to target table. This is the step-by-step approach to load the data into your target table. So now transformation is getting executed. Okay, 16 seconds, 18 seconds. Okay, successfully executed. Now go to your book table. Okay, so library books, right? This is the book table. Load the data and you see all your 1261 records are loaded. Okay, and your numbers are auto generated because we have set that setting in the table level. So all your data records are successfully loaded. Can you see this? There are a couple of bugs that you have to notice. I will tell you what are those bugs in the subsequent sections, because tomorrow we will be doing the same exercise. Now you understood this, right? The end-to-end process, how to do this? Chaitanya?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Hemant?
Yes, sir.
Rani?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Pretty
so I will do this one more time. In this second time, if I'm using the same transformation mapping, same approach, we will not need it to create, follow two steps. Okay, so you can skip those steps. What are those steps? We will observe. Okay, for the second time. Now second time, this, I want to load again the same data. Okay, now this is my book info, right? Okay, and second phase. Okay, example. So, I'm doing these things because with these examples tomorrow, I will be explaining few additional topics in the same transformation mapping while I'm doing these options. Okay, while I'm loading this data. Okay, so now the second phase data has come up. Okay, what I want to do, I want to re-import the data. So what are those steps to do that? Go to system import to load the data, go to system import and then click on load. Okay, so the data preparation is completed. This step is completed. Now I came to this place and now when I'm doing it, now there is a imports table is already there. I don't have to create it. So what I will do is I will use that particular existing table. I will not create it for the second time if I'm loading the data into same table. Skip, right? This table is not required. Now execute it. Oh, file is not selected. Now I'm saying this is the data. Now I'm loading the data. File template in the background is not changed. So data load is completed. Now this piece is completed. Now again, do I need to create a new transformation again? I don't have to create it because I already created a transformation mapping. So I don't have to go through these steps again. I can directly run the transformation, which is available on the table. So I don't have to create this step. I can skip. And I can skip this step also because I don't have mapping again. I can skip. Okay, I can directly run the transformation. Click on run transformation. Your pre-created transformation will be already available here. You can use that. Now run the transformation. Okay, now if I'm running the transformation, what happens? All this data will be recreated into my ServiceNow system. Okay, now let's go to your book table. Earlier, we were having around 1200 plus records. Now we have executed for the second time. You can see the data has come again. Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so when I'm doing it for the second time, it has properly loaded and I don't have to reuse some of the fields here. Okay. Now I can skip these few steps. I don't have to recreate a import set table. I don't have to recreate a transformation. Those things I can reuse for the second time data import. Okay. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Clear.
Now there is another one. There is a other one. Okay. Now first one is the data creation. The second time, you have done that. And the third time, I'm seeing some challenge. I want to talk about challenge and then we need to fix about it. We call coalescing. What is this coalescing? Okay. Now, if you look into this, when I'm loading the data, I'm loading the same book information. Every time I'm doing it, the system is actually recreating it, right? Okay. In real time scenario, if you have a book, like, that book will be, imagine that it's going to be a unique one. Okay. If the book is a unique, I don't want to create the data again. Agree?
Yes.
Okay, if that book is a unique, then I don't want to create the data. But what my system is doing, I have loaded the first time and the second time I loaded, the same data has been re-imported. Correct? So it is duplicated around 1216. Now I will do it one more time. Okay, let me do it one more time. System import, load data. And I have the existing one, load the file and submit it. I'm just executing the same steps again. Run the transformation. And done that. Go to book. Okay. Now 3000 records. Every time I'm doing it, my system is not validating which one is a unique. Should I have to update it or not? System is simply creating it. So to eliminate that problem, what I will do is we will use correlation feature. Now let's do one thing. Let's do one thing. Okay, create all the data that is created today. Okay, create. Okay, created on today. Run it. Okay, and this is the data. So what you want to do is you want to delete. Okay, let's use, go to configure. I want to delete all the data, clean it. Go to table. Delete all the record for my testing purpose. I just need to say delete. Deleted. Around 3700 records are there. System deleted it. Go back to the table. Now there is no data. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to load the data again. Go to system import. Load the data. Okay. File. First file, I'm just using book info. Okay. Info. Submit it. All 161 records are executed. I have the transformation mapping. Run the transformation mapping. Okay. Now, if I go to my book table, okay. If I go to my book table, now 1261 records are there. Okay. Now my requirement is, if I'm redoing this, I want to create only new records, not the existing. Okay, now if there is any data that is a duplicated one, I don't want to create the duplicate data anymore. I want to check something. Okay, in my case, I'm assuming my book name is a unique one. Only if there is any new book, only that new book need to be created. Old book should not be created. It should be ignored, or it should be updated with the latest data. So to do that, we use correlation feature. How do you do that? You have created a transformation mapping, right? Okay, system import, and you have created a transformation mapping. Go to system import and transformation mapping. And we created one transformation mapping for this one, okay, for a book load. And this is the new transformation mapping that we created, right? I'm opening the transformation mapping. And if you scroll below, you have a feature called coalesce. And which field is a unique unit, I'm assuming that book name is a unique. So I'm saying this is a unique one. Okay. So what system does is, if there is any new book coming up, system will create it. And if there is any book which is with the same name, what system does is it will update the data. It will not recreate it. Okay, it will not recreate it. QLS will help you to avoid duplicate record creation. Please remember this. QLS will help you to avoid duplicate record creation. What it does is it will check for that unique existence. And if there is any data, okay, record which is available in the target system, it updates it rather than creating it. Okay. And if there is any new ticket, new record is coming up and there is no new record, there is no data which is available on the system, on the target system with the new record, then it will create that record. Okay, now let's prepare my second data set. Okay, this is my second data set. In this one, along with this existing 1260 records, I want to create one new record. Okay, I want to add one new record for my testing purpose. Okay, I have total 1261 records. Those are all duplicates. Only one new record I'm adding. Okay, I'm saying let's add Abel Tutor only, but author can be same, but book name is for checking. Okay, adding new book. This is my new book name. Okay, cost is some. Okay, I'm not giving number. Okay, I'm just saying that this is my number, so I'm saving this. Okay, only one new book and all the old, all the other records are old books. Saving it. Okay, on the system side, I have made book name is a coalescing one. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll save this transformation mapping. I have saved my transformation mapping. The system is saying, do you want to index it on the database? No, for a moment, I don't want to do that. Cancel it. Okay, execute the same steps to data load. Load the data and you have existing imports at table and go to file and open the second phase, load the data and run the transformation and validate and what's happening. And I have executed transformation mapping. Successful. Okay, if you go to this transformation history, the system is saying only one record is inserted and 1261 records are ignored. But check it on your book table. Now go to book table. There is no duplicate data. Earlier, every single time I'm doing 1200 records are getting added. Now, no. Okay, if I retrieve it jet to A, only one new book that is created with a new name. Okay, check with that. The new book, is that created or not? What is that book name? Copy. This is the book name. Check for it. That new book name is created. You can see this. Only that one new book is created along with that 1261 records. With that, now we have 1262 records. Now you understood the advantage of coalescing, right?
Yes.
Heman, Chaitanya,
Yes, sir.
Rani.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is.
Okay, good. So can you just load some sample data into your library book table and execute it and then check that coalescing? I will be here. Can you complete that lab exercise right away?
Okay, sir.
Let me stop recording. Okay, so